They duct taped everything?
Yep.
They use triple wall pipe and they use duct tape on like a $1.2 million house. Isn't that something? The homeowner throws their money away on triple wall, which is the worst pipe you can use, duct taped, and they're wondering why they got water problems a year after moving into the house. So we have a lot of rooftop on this house. So all the rooftop right here is on 3 downspouts only. You can see that this gutter on the second story, this gutter runs to a downspout that dumps onto the first story right there. And that's normal, guys. Your second story is going to your first story gutters. These are really big 3x4 downspouts. They're maxed out. We know they're maxed out. So what we're going to do, the men are going to connect this downspout and this downspout into one 4-inch pipe. That's it. We're just putting the 2 downspouts because, see, you got the second story water going down to the first story. That's how it always is. When you have 2-story homes, you can see how that downspout right there from the second story, all that water is coming down to the first story and it's ending up in the first story gutter trough. So guys, pay attention to that so you can see just how much roof each one of these downspouts is responsible for. So we know this 3x4 is being maxed out. We know that the 3x4 over here is running hard. It's not being maxed out, but it's running pretty hard. It's moving some water. So we want to tie those into one 4-inch pipe. We're going to run that. Instead of coming under the walk like it originally was and out that way, we're not doing that. We get more slope going this way. They're getting a ton of water in the garage, a ridiculous amount of water in the garage. It's like a swimming pool right here by this bump out when we get torrential rains. That's why we're here. So the homeowner just had all this landscape put in. This is triple wall. This is a landscaper's underground buried downspout system. This is what you get with the landscaper. You're going to spend all this money on brick pavers and bushes, and they're going to give you triple wall, duct taped. Triple wall, duct taped. I mean, I can't make this stuff up. Using garbage triple wall, the cheapest pipe on the planet. It's called triple wall because it's a laminated. You see how it's coming apart? It's garbage pipe, man. This is garbage pipe. It's got 3 layers, and the layers always come apart. It has no UV protection. This stuff is just trash. It's going in the trash because that's where it belongs. Do not use triple wall for your yard drain systems or your roof runoff systems. It sounds almighty because there's 3 layers to it, but it is the worst pipe. It is the worst pipe in the drainage industry, triple wall. They use T's instead of Y's. They duct taped everything. All right, we're going to use the high octane armor pipe on this job. This extra heavy duty. We're using the sediment traps. Guys already put the female couplers on them. They love the female couplers. They're rocking the female couplers on everything. So they're going to put a leaf filter with a dual wall riser. And like I said, they're rocking the female coupler for everything. Just absolutely love that coupler.
Put an inlet right there, so
we're going to tie that downspout with that downspout. He's moving the gutter strap. He raised the gutter strap so that way we could put the leaf filter higher. The most important place to seal up your system with a really good plumbing tape is right here at the wall of the house. Right here at the not quite a 90. Make sure you tape that fitting up really well.
Good. Don't forget the paper.
Yeah.
We have hundreds of plants in this landscape bed, trees and shrubs. We want to make sure we tape up every connection point, and we're going to run the longest piece of pipe we can from one fitting to the next. Check out the soft sweep from the not quite a 90 to the Y fitting. You can't do this with PVC pipe, so you end up with a lot of fittings, a lot of glue joints, a lot of places where the system can separate, and a lot of areas where the roots can intrude. Also, we're going to run about 60 feet of pipe from that Y all the way out into the front yard and put that on a pop-up. It's going to be one piece, no glue joints, no tape joints, from this sediment trap all the way out to the front yard where the pop-up's going. Definitely stay to the end to see how we're using the sediment trap. We're going to show you some yard drain tips and tricks while you're running your roof runoff system. We tape the connection points to keep out the roots, but also so that we're not leaking at the connection points. This system's going to be managing a lot of water, and we don't want to have a loss of a lot of water. That's the problem already. They had this duct-taped triple wall that was inefficient, and it was ran like PVC pipe because it's straight pipe and it has to be. So it had all these fittings. The water just kept turning 90 and 45, and it's just slamming and slamming and slamming. We have this free-flowing system that's going to manage the water really well, and we have it taped up really nice, so we're not going to be leaking anywhere at any of the connection points. And the use of a Y fitting over a T fitting, that's night and day difference. They were using T's throughout their triple wall system, and the water was just slamming to a stop every time it hit a T. Our Y fitting keeps it flowing. The reason why we're not digging with a trenching shovel for the main line, we have to run two 4-inch lines instead of just running 3 downspouts on one 4-inch main. Because of how long these gutter runs are, how much rooftop we're dealing with, because this is a really large home, we're going to put two
whatever it takes to get
4-inch
the
main
water
lines
out.
out to the front yard.
Doesn't matter if it's concrete, brick, pavers, you have to get the water out. That has to be the priority.
The worst pipe on the planet is right there, triple wall. It doesn't get any worse than that. It separates, it doesn't have any UV protection, the sun cracks it. The homeowner later told me this was a $1.8 million home, and they used triple wall.
To get the fall we needed, we had to go underneath the walk, through the hedges, underneath the edging. This drops, and we get to a really nice, we want the top of our pop-up emitters to be below all of our drain pipe. That way we can drain it out. We know for sure that we're draining it out. Then what's left right down in here in the pop-up emitter in the last, 4 feet of pipe, it'll just leach. We'll put a bunch of stone around the pop-up emitter so that it leaches into the subsoil after the rain.
They've dug a nice wide trench for the two 4-inch main lines. The whole system is going to be in 4-inch. Look at how wide that trench is. Side by side, two 4-inch pipes. We're not going to merge a 4-inch pipe into a 4-inch main. There's going to be two 4-inch mains. There's going to be two 4-inch discharges. Now, because of all the roots, and we're worried about root intrusion, this is one piece of pipe. This was done consciously. We ran one piece of pipe, we opened a brand new 100-foot coil, and we ran about 60 feet of pipe up through this landscape. There's no tape, there's no glue joints. Unlike a PVC system or a triple wall system where you have to, every 10 feet, glue it or duct tape it, I guess, this is going to be one piece of pipe, 60 feet, all the way to the inline sediment trap. There's going to be no way it can leak, and there's going to be no way the roots can intrude. It's the most understated principle of drainage in all the videos that I see on YouTube. I'm starting to mention it more,
We practice this all the time, but now I'm pointing it out to you guys so that you can emphasize this on your own install, whether it's a DIYer or you're a contractor and you're honing your skills. Check it out. They ran 60 feet of line through sprinkler line, through hundreds of shrubs, underneath the paver walkway, underneath landscape edging to make one connection at the sediment trap. Somebody in the comments section asked, if I drill holes in my sediment trap, how am I going to keep the roots out? And it's a great question, but I'm here to tell you, if you're maintaining your sediment trap and you get some small roots that somehow come up through the little drill holes in the bottom of your sediment trap, you just rip them out when they're small and they're just little, like the strands of hair. You don't let them get super big and ignore your sediment trap for years. That could be a problem, but for the most part, I've never seen it an issue, ever. The men just stand on the pipe when they backfill it. Hold it down so that dirt doesn't get underneath the pipe and it'll throw off your slope. Very important. And the pipe's strong. I don't care if you're 260 or 350 pounds, it doesn't matter. You're not going to hurt this pipe. Look at this one piece of pipe weaving through all of this landscape. We're not using a bunch of fittings, not glue joints. Look at that. Under sprinklers, under a paver walk, under landscape edging, out into the yard. That's textbook. It doesn't get any better than that. Now, really look closely to what the men do here. They run a second 4-inch line. We have so much roof and so much gutter on one 3x4 downspout, it's responsible for a ridiculous amount of rooftop. You have to look at this when you're running downspout lines. You have to know that you have a 3x4 downspout that's going to be maxed out. It has a long gutter run. It has a ridiculous amount of rooftop on a really big home. You're going to want to run a single 4-inch line from that downspout all the way to the pop-up. Make it a designated line for a downspout that's responsible for that much water. Here's another example of a really long run. One piece of pipe from that sediment trap all the way out to the front yard where we're going to connect a pop-up emitter. Going through a lot of trees and shrubs. We don't want any root intrusion. This is a bulletproof system. And the men thought of everything. Now make sure you tape both ends of the not quite a 90. You don't have to tape the riser where the leak filter goes in. Don't worry about that. That's a male to female and it does not leak. That will not be a problem. I want to point out the importance here of not putting a Y fitting right there. Don't connect that one 4-inch pipe to the other 4-inch pipe. It defeats the purpose. When you want a designated line for a downspout that's a 3x4 that's maxed out, you just let it merge in the trench, but don't merge the two lines together. The guys did a beautiful job. They merged a second pipe in with, look at that, 2 pipes, double pipes for the downspouts. Big house, big roof. Always want to know when you have a lot of fall and you take your pop-up to where you have a lot of drop, how much pipe will still have water in it. This is a perfect example. Before we connect all this, put this together, backfill it, I can show you water seeks level. So right here we got about 5 feet of pipe that's going to hold water. This could be done with a leach line, or it could be done just with a bunch of stone around the pop-up emitter. Do not tape the pop-up emitter fitting to the pipe. This holds so good you don't need to tape it. Then you just put stone around the pop-up emitter, and this is going to leach into the subsurface soil. That water that's going to be in that 5 feet of pipe, as you're in between rains and going through droughts, it'll dry up for you, no problem. So this is how this was installed. You see how they crimp them? So the amount of water that a 3x4 downspout can really move is kind of compromised because they got to crimp them. You can just see how they create like a funnel so that you got a male going into a female with the direction of flow. So you just keep doing this as you make all your connections. They're doing a beautiful job. They really got this cleaned up nice. Look how nice this is. They put all that back together. This is the after. They went ahead and they put down the weed barrier that was under there. You can see our drain fabric. They're doing a really nice job. Beautiful job. Guys are hooking up 2 discharge lines for the roof runoff system here. We got 3 3x4 downspouts that are just maxed out. Francisco turned the pop up like this so the water can run towards the sidewalk.
They did not tape that pop-up emitter on that 4-inch line. They are going to let it leach into the subsoil with that pocket of stone around that fitting.
All right, check it out. Here's the 2 pop-ups. You know, they got them pointed towards the sidewalk for discharge because we're sending the water to the street. Look at how nice they put together this landscape. The shrubbery's in, the decorative stone's in. Now, there's some brick paver work that has to get done. So he told us to leave the pavers out because they got to come because the pavers sunk over here. This is houses. The homeowner's been in the home 1 year. So the bushes that need to be replaced, that's normal. It's under warranty. What sinks and settles around new home, well, when you put in a nice landscape like this, you expect it. All right. So went with the black. Look at that. The black tops for the catch basins. They just get lost in a landscape. That's for the shingle gravel. So this one's on its own line. Look at how nice they did this. Look at this. It's beautiful. The homeowner actually asked me if we brought in more stone. Look at this. Came out great. Look how nice this is. Beautiful. Really nice. So the water that gets caught in here is now going to get caught in the same sediment trap that's catching the shingle gravel for that downspout and that downspout. These come in right here on a 4-inch main, just 2 downspouts on 1 4-inch main. We're going to grab up the water that might be building up here on the surface. We're going to keep this garage dry. There's been a lot of water intrusion in this garage. That's really what brought us here. You can see that water just gets trapped in here, and you can see that this is a little concave. Now we have good slope on our line. The guys did a really nice job running that line out. We're picking up all the water there because we started to come as we sloped it down, we got in this low point, grabbing up that water. So the sediment trap that's going to catch shingle gravel is also going to catch surface water. We got leaf filters so we don't end up with clogs in the line. We got not quite a 90s, so we keep up the velocity along with the slope that we have on the pipe. We're going to move a lot of water. Now the 6-inch grate, you just take a screwdriver and you just pop it out. It's a press fit, no screws. I hate screws. Screws get lost. It's just a pain. So I love this press fit. I love that press fit into that plate, easy to find. This also has 1% slope in towards the grate. That's all been factored in. So we don't have to take the big gooseneck trailer out when we're doing downspouts, but when you're running 4-inch line, you can see that that displaces a lot of area. So you end up, I mean, there's definitely quite a bit of dirt in this small dump trailer. So when you DIY this and you're using 4-inch line opposed to a 3-inch line, just be prepared for some haul out. If you found any of this information helpful, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions regarding this installation, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.